Welcome to Lynn's Saltwater Finch Kitchen. And Saltwater Finches is the name of my Facebook page, and you're welcome to visit it anytime. But today I want to show you how I make my breakfast for my finches, my Lady Gouldian Finches and my Society Finches, and also this is great for my grass keats, my borks. So I don't usually get all fancy like this and put it in individual containers, but I wanted to show you proportions and I wanted to have it ready to go. So today this is breakfast and this is what I have today. Now honestly it varies from day to day depending on what I have available, what's in the kitchen, what's fresh and ready to go. But today I have the beginning of my sprouted seeds, and the reason I say beginning is they really haven't sprouted yet. But they're soft enough for the babies to eat. And I have lots of babies to feed upstairs. When they're ready, they barely have a little growth. You don't want it long because the nutrition has then been leached out to grow. You want it just like a tiny little bit, like a little tiny follicle. So this is what it looks like when it's relatively dry. And then I have fresh corn. They love this. This is a combination that I did in my itty bitty food processor that I use for bird food, and it's just carrots and broccoli tops, and they love this. This is what makes it really fresh. And this is my egg food today. I don't have the egg food I normally give them, which would be homemade, but this is great, and I give this when I don't have my fresh egg food made. And this is a combination of commercially available Volkmann gourmet egg food, which you can buy easily. This is an egg meal that I ordered online from LadyGouldianFinches.com, which is a really good vendor. And this is another egg food that has insects in it, dried insects, that I order from Glamorous Gouldian Finches. This could be GlamourOusGouldian.com. And this is CD. It's actually a European food. All mixed together in here. So this is essentially what they get. Now, these two dishes are for a different number of birds. This is what I would give 1, 2, or 4 birds every day. And this is what I would use to feed 6 or more birds. I have one flight upstairs that has about 20 birds in it. Most of them are babies, juveniles. So I have 3 of these in their cage. And almost all of it's gone by the end of the day. So I do something, you don't have to do this, but I do this because I like the way it looks and because it lets me know I have actually used the food I have out. So I actually make a little design, kind of, it's graduated of the different foods so I can see it's there. I also like to do it because I can watch and see what they eat first. And usually, whatever they eat first is their favorite food. So, if I've done it right, they should like everything in here. But if there's a certain food that looks like they're not going to it first, second, or third, then it's not a favorite food, and maybe I should alter it. So far I've got in the fresh broccoli and carrots, and I've got a nice layer of soft beginning to sprout seeds. Just so you know, the beginning to sprout seeds are multiple times more nutritious than dry seeds. That's why even just soft, beginning to germinate, is better than not having any. Then I have my dry food that I sprinkle in here. Once again, it's layer by layer, so that it lets me see I've done it. There it is. Can you see it? And so now I've got all 4 of these in. Then I take, this is the piece de resistance. What's wrong?
Couldn't see it.
Oh, okay. Well, you couldn't see it. Let me try again. See it now? Okay. That was my helper, my sister Allison Molnar from Seattle, who's filming this for me. She just let me know you couldn't see it. So there it is. So I've been talking about wheatgrass a long time to people. This is commercially available at my grocery store for $1.99. It's organic wheatgrass. It's alive. It's still growing. And all you do is give it a haircut because the finches would not know what to do if I put this whole thing in the cage. So you give it a haircut. I usually sprinkle it over the kind of damper food. They will go to that first. Now the other thing I found with finches, unlike parrots, which I also have, finches do not go searching layer by layer for food. They basically take what's on top. So you need to not pile it up. You need to kind of make it visible and layer by layer. So I actually smush it down so that it's clearly how much I have there. Because parrots will sort through it and throw it all over the place. Finches do not. They take what's on the top. They don't think anything's underneath it. So you need to make it all visible. Now, I did have a supplement I wanted to show you that you can sprinkle on top. I have a lot of babies right now that are coloring up, which means they're going from their baby feathers, which are gray and green, to their adult feathers, which are super colorful. And to give them a little boost and make their feathers color up faster, I have a product called Feather Fast. I have no idea if they like the taste of it, so I don't use a lot. I just sprinkle a tiny, tiny bit, like you would put salt on an egg dish, just a tiny bit before you taste it to see how salty it was. I just sprinkle a little tiny bit on the wet food because it will stay there. When they pick up the wet food, they'll get it. Not required, but since they take forever to color up, if there's something you can do to speed it up a little bit, that's really great. Now this will stay in their cages all day. In the evening, when I go freshen their food, I will take whatever's left away, since this could get spoiled or stale with the fresh vegetables in here. I take it away and I give them what can stay in their cage overnight, which is dry food. This is not only nice for them to have in the evening hours. It's going to fall over because it's just dry. There's nothing to hold it in place. But it's a combination of things, that just like I said before, that I kind of do in layers. And so they can see it. And this can stay in their cage all evening and all night and be what they can eat first thing in the morning. Because they wake up and the sun comes up and I do not. So this is there for them when they wake up. So this is a really good blend of finch food called Fabulous Finch Food. You don't have to use this. You can use any commercially available food. I personally like to order it because I don't like the kind that comes with pellets and other things mixed in. I don't think they need pellets. They need fresh food and seeds and growing things. This is a dried, wonderful smelling, healthy greens. And it's just alfalfa and all kinds of healthy greens chopped up, dried, and that'll stay great in their cage, and that goes in there too. And then lastly, I give them, this could be my homemade combination of egg food, but I have something here that's particularly good for babies, and with all the babies I have, I've been using this, called Miracle Meal. And it's also got some of the same things that egg food has, but it's got some insects and some other things and some vitamins. So it's very good. It's very easy for the parents to feed the babies, and it's very easy for the babies to handle as they're just learning to eat on their own. So this is a great food. I have learned this from people that have been willing to share their knowledge, just like I'm sharing with you. I have several mentors that helped me, plus I love doing research, and I did a lot of research on what's good, but this is what I do. Doesn't mean this is what you have to do or what everybody else does. It's just what works for me. And it's worked so well that I have currently about 30 new babies from 5 very productive pairs, and I still have more coming. And none of these pairs have tossed their babies or abandoned them. They've all been wonderful parents that have fed abundantly, and the babies are growing up to be healthy and beautiful. So I think really good nutrition pays big dividends. And I do have things to give them if they get ill, but with good nutrition, I have not had any ill birds this season. So this is why I'm such a big fan of this. The other thing I want to show you is you really need to give your finches either bottled or filtered water. It's very important that they not have the chemicals that we drink in our tap water. So bottled or filtered water is fine. The other thing is you need to check this pretty often because you would be surprised how fast they go through their water or how fast they soil it. So check their water frequently and check their food levels frequently to see how much they really need to get to make it through the whole day. But the biggest thing I have found is just check your finches, period. They need to be looked on to make sure everybody's okay, nobody's stuck anywhere, nobody's been injured, and everybody's getting a chance to eat and drink. So I usually check in on my finches morning, evening, and then right before I go to bed at night. Very important. One night I was going to bed and I checked on my finches, and one finch was in a very strange position, kind of hanging on the side of the cage. And I thought, why is this baby doing that? And I went over and tried to lift her out, and she wouldn't lift out. She squealed, and I realized she was stuck. She was stuck with her wing between the edges of a toy and the cage. So I released the toy and got her out. She had lost all the feathers in that wing. She needed a little bit of emergency care, which I got her the next day at the vet. She's completely recovered, but had she hung on the side of that cage all night till the next morning when I came in, I don't think she would have survived. The stress and the pain, she wouldn't have made it. So it's really important to give your birds one last check at night before everybody's settled in and you're not going to look at them again for maybe 8 to 10 hours. So this is my first. I hope to have a little series of these on cage maintenance and how to keep it clean and easy, and supplements and medication. So this is it for now. If you would like further information or to reach me, please go to the Facebook page and type in Saltwater Finches, and that'll reach me, Lynn Singerman. Thanks for watching.